Hey all my Flosstube friends, I'm back for a weekend update, let you know what I've been working on, anything I've purchased, what I've finished, so I'm just going to jump right into it. It is Saturday, January the 13th, and last weekend I was MIA again, but I had an amazing trip. I can't wait to share with you all. This past weekend I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to take a class with Nicola Partman of Hands Across the Sea Samplers. So first thing Saturday morning, I got up and I met up with Donna and Debbie of D Squared and Lorraine of Rags to Stitches USA. We met up at the hotel in Weaverville, North Carolina, and the class was not until Sunday, but I had been told by a friend from Instagram that I met and had the pleasure to meet in November about a shop that is in Johnston, is it Johnston or Johnson City, Tennessee, called Cross Stitch and Crafts. Actually, it's Johnson City. Here's the card. It is a nice size shop. It's in an old part of town, and it's upstairs. It's just had a lovely time there. We drove up it. It's about an hour from Weaverville, which is the home of Sassy Jack Stitchery. So we spent a few hours there and got a chance to meet up with Patricia of Bramblewoodstitches. She is on Instagram, and I'll try to link everyone below. She met us up there, and we spent a few hours in that shop. And I was trying to keep to a budget, because I knew that I was going to meet with Nicola on Sunday and tour Sassy Jacks. But let me tell you, there were several ladies that were there stitching that day, an owner and I believe her daughter, and they were just friendly and welcoming, and it was amazing to see what the stitchers that were there were working on. There were several people in and out while we were there, just a busy shop. So I'm going to show you real quick what I actually purchased while I was there. I actually started this on Saturday evening, but it's an old U&I and Friends. It's called the Prairie House Sampler, and I started it last Saturday night. I have this thing that I always start something when I'm at a retreat or a class like that, that I can stitch on. It helps to remind me of my time there. So like I said, I started this, and it's chock full of specialty stitches, and I'll show you where I am. I had started just doing some of the border last weekend, and so this week I finished another project that I'll show you shortly, but I spent time working on the vines, and today I got up early this morning. Insomnia sucks. But it gives me plenty of stitching time, and I worked on the urn, and you can't tell. Number one, I chose 36 count fabric. It's full of specialty stitches, which I love. The stalk of this tree, or the trunk of this tree, is all Smyrna crosses, and you can't tell. This basket is Algerian eyelets. Is that right? And satin stitches. And so I'm loving how it's turned out. So it's a mirror image. There'll be another one over here. But that's where I'm at the moment. And I'm very happy with it. I've not seen these patterns in a long time, and I got this one for $1. They had just completed their yearly inventory, and I picked up this one and two others for $1. So let me show you those. And they're both threads of gold, and I think that this lady has passed away, is not designing. This one, I like this one. It's not my favorite of the two that I have. This is Margaret Walker 1786, and it's a reproduction sampler. I love burgundies and dark greens together. Royal colors is what I call them, and that fits all my criteria as far as color. But this one is the one that really hit me. It has pinks and just look. And this is Rachel Marshall, and it's Scottish influence, a lot of Scottish influence in this sampler. But I love that house in the center. It's so different. And it is 340 by 292 stitches. And I also bought one other while I was there. And, sorry. I walked in. First thing that caught my eye was a recent finish that they had stitched on, framed on the wall. And it was His Eyes on the Sparrow. I know a lot of you are stitching it. I see it, and I wouldn't say I'm overwhelmed by the size. But I just know that this would be a geriatric piece, meaning I would be old and gray before I finished it. And I had held off from buying it until I saw the stitched model. I was blown away. It was absolutely gorgeous. The fabric was just perfect. I grab it. Donna walks up behind me. Now she's going to stitch it. Lorraine has it. Debbie has it. We're going to be doing a stitch along starting the 31st. So, of course, on the ride back, I'm on my phone ordering the fabric because they didn't have a size large enough at that shop. But I'm already shopping for fabric. Which, dum dum dum, I was headed to Sassy Jack's the next day. So I held off from buying it. And so flash forward, we had a wonderful day together, having lunch and dinner and shopping and talking with Patricia, and just the day passed way too fast. We got up the next morning and met at, drove on to Sassy Jack Stitchery, like I said, which is in Weaverville, South Carolina. The owner's name is Kimberly, and she was just a very gracious host. Lots of ladies there, lots of smiles, lots of laughter. Met up with a lot of old friends. Faye of the Carolina Stitcher was there. My friend Patty Frank and her friend Linda from Ohio were there. Linda Page was there as well. Of course, Janet Coker from Instagram. She met up. She's Aneedleintime on Instagram, and she met up with us there as well. And we just had an amazing time. Just awesome. I can't say... I will say, when Nicola throws out her Flosstube videos, I told you all before how sentimental I am, but she researches the young ladies who actually stitch the samplers. She learns their history, or rather, I would rather say their story. And a lot of times when she shows those on her video, it's the girls themselves, or she has a young girl narrate the story, but tells the story of the girl who stitches the piece. And I'm just mesmerized by that. And Nicola's voice, same. I can't imagine her raising her voice. She's just so soft-spoken and so sweet. And anyway, let me show you the class piece real quick. So she spent the first half of the day telling us about her samplers, which she brought a huge trunk show. Just describing the samplers themselves, why she purchases the ones that she does, what she looks for, how she goes about looking the information up about the young ladies who stitch them, just all types of background information of how she goes about having these samplers reproduced and printed. Just lots of information. Second half of the day, which was after lunch, we actually did our class piece. And it is actually, she gave us a book in this, which I love this, but this is a class piece, and it is a full kit, and it is to make the needle book here. So you have the threads and the fabric and the this stuff. Everything you need, it's silk threads to complete this piece. And if you've not seen one of Nicola's charts, they're more like a small catalog in thickness. They are just very well made, great. I mean, the paper is high quality paper. Just, you get what you pay for when you buy her patterns. So we got this, and we got a start, and this is a motif from one of her upcoming market releases. And she did have the 3 of her market pieces there. This one was actually and it's behind the class pieces. This one was actually on sale for us there at the class, and I think Janet did pick it up. And the other 2, of course, will be released at market. Just great. I got a small start. I hope to finish it this month and get it finished into the needle case, but really loved this. And this is another piece that I have wavered back and forth, back and forth. Well, the Uffendale sisters, the 2 sisters pattern she released this year is a limited quantity. There were none there in the shop. And I had decided after seeing them, because she brought them with her, that I needed them. I love them both, but I love Anne's sampler best. And so we mentioned it to Kimberly. Did you have, the owner of the shop, do you have any more? She didn't. And come to find out, her and Nicola talked. I don't know where they got them from, but guess what? I got them. So, but this is Anne, and this is Anne, and the other is Isabella Uffendale. Once again, patterns do not do the pieces justice. This was amazing. This one is the reason that I bought it. So I have them both. Awesome. And I have it signed by Nicola. Great, great shop. So she did tell us that that was the first class she'd ever taught. She does think of herself as a teacher. She does want to do more of this, and I think she's at the Attic in Arizona this weekend. So I know those ladies that are there are having just as amazing of a time as I had last weekend. So if you ever get a chance to meet up with her, take one of her classes, visit Sassy Jack's, which is amazing. I bought a couple other things. Of course I bought a couple other things. This is, if this is help, this is Sassy Jack's, what do you call this? Their brand for that shop, I guess you'd say. But this is it. When I was at the retreat in November with, this was the little gift she gave. A little needle book that looks like a tea pouch or tea bag. And then there's her card. I thought I didn't have it. This is the gift that she gave us. But going back to what I was saying, in November, I went to a retreat in Pigeon Forge, hosted by Katrina Boyd. And Jen of Jen's Stitch Niche was there, which I absolutely love. I want to stitch everything Jen's stitching. And she finished a piece shortly after we left, I believe, or was it there? I think it was while we were there. And it was a Summer House Stitchworks piece, Caroline Behringer. The thing that drew my attention is she had a huge basket of her threads sitting beside or between the two of us. It was like a treasure chest of fabrics. Not fabrics, threads. But this piece is stitched in wools, which I'd never stitched with wools before on linens. I've only used it a little on a couple of wool felt pieces that I have purchased, but never have I cross stitched with it. So she finished this, and the colors are so vibrant, and the threads were so soft. Well, I go to Sassy Jack's, and Kimberly has this piece stitched up and framed as a model beside the pattern. So I go to pull the threads and take a look at these. And the color is not showing up as accurate as it should with my lighting, but look at those. And they're so soft. So I got the fabric, which is a piece of 32 count toasted almond hand dyed by Stephanie. and this. So Janet sees it. It caught Janet's eye, but she passed it by. So then she sees me pulling threads, wants to know what I'm doing. So then we end up kitting it up together. So we come back to the table with these kitted up things, you know, laying there on the table. And then Donna gets it. And then I think Lorraine got it. I don't think Debbie got it, but I may be wrong. So once again, now we're doing another stitch along. Now when are we doing this one? We're going to do it after we do His Eyes on the Sparrow. So I think all of us will have a geriatric piece. We'll all be in our, you know, we'll exceed our life expectancy if we stay here and stitch all this. What else? What else? Oh, I have a finish. I started this one at the November retreat when I was with Katrina and I was with Jen of Jen's Stitching Niche. No, I'm telling a lie. This was at the Marietta retreat in August. Katrina stitched this piece up and finished it one night at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I happened to be up with her. And I had to have it. So I bought it the next day. And this is 14 count L. Should I say 28 count? 14 stitches in a square inch. I still said that wrong, didn't I? There are 14 stitches per inch, not in a square inch. Anyway, I digress. I have not stitched on 28 count in a long time. She didn't have 32, so I bought the 28 and I start stitching this, and the stitches look this big in my eyes, just huge. So I said, there's no way, I do not want to stitch this. So I started it on 1/1. And this is the piece, and I love it. Now, I originally thought I would do a drum, and I've changed my mind. Because I have plans this year to do a memory book of all my escapades with cross stitch this year. All my trips and gatherings. I have something already planned just about every month this year. I love to take pictures. Every weekend I have to download the pictures from my phone to even do these videos. So, with that being said, I have lots of pictures from last weekend. And I'm going to get a book. And I do not scrapbook. I just want it to be more like a journaling picture memento book. Very simple. And I want to finish this up and maybe hand sew under the edges, and this will be on the cover of my memory book. I can't frame everything, or my walls and the whole house will look like this. I have so many things unframed. I'm not a big gifter, because most people are not of cross stitch when they're gifted, or not big appreciators. So I'm not one to gift my things. I'm a stingy stitcher. So I've got to come up with more creative ways to use them. So that was my idea with this. Now, with that being said, I'll have 2 new starts this week. Not this week, but this month. The 31st, I'll be starting this. My fabric is on the way from Stitch and Frog. I could not find a piece large enough at Sassy Jack's nor at Cross Stitch and Craft, so I ordered it from Stitch and Frog, and then they messaged me. They didn't have the piece that I had purchased in 40 count, but they had it in 36, so I'll be stitching it on 36. So I'll be starting this on the 31st. And this piece, my Sampler Guild will meet this coming Thursday. And this is what I never did start it because I did not go to the November meeting and the December meeting because of Christmas. Because Christmas at my work starts in November. But I will be stitching this GGR, and it's Catherine Thomas 1868. And I will be starting this probably Monday because it's a holiday. Thank the Lord for federal holidays when you're a federal employee. So I'll be stitching it on this with this knotted clump of weeks. So those are my plans for the rest of the month. To work on my U&I, to start this GGR, and on the 31st I'll be starting His Eyes on the Sparrow. one other thing. I'm always saying that in my videos, aren't I? One more thing, because I want to tell y'all everything. We've checked out, we're leaving Cross Stitching Crafts, and I see these bags on the floor. They are stuffed with paper to show the size. This is the bottom. They were $5. They are from Cloth Remnants, and a lady makes these, and she sells them to what I think is pennies. They're perfect for cross stitching, for shopping, what have you. And she donates the money to her local church for women's causes. So I don't want you to see her last name, but I don't guess it matters since she's shining. But she puts this inside. So handmade, made by Sue Beaver in Hickory, North Carolina. So I carried this the whole 2 days and put my things in it. Loved it. Lorraine bought one too because she's a black and white girl, so she got a black and white bag. And I think Debbie got one as well. So just a cute little find. What else? The remainder of the week I'll keep working on my UNI and Friends and go to the Sampler Guild on Thursday night and wait for my calls from my precious Jacob. Once again, thanks for everyone who commented on the video of Jacob and I. He now has access to his phone in the evening, so we're talking at least 3 times a week, and it's been great to hear his excitement, to hear what he's done that day or the past 2 days. We did get a call night before last. He's already been told where he's going after training. He's very excited. It was one of his top 3 picks. And let's just say when he was on the phone, he's talking to me like Mario from Mario Brothers. So that may tell you, all of those who are geeky like me may tell you exactly where he's going. And he is super excited, and so am I, because there's just a possibility I might need a passport and go see him at some point. So just be thinking of him, but just know, he's so positive. He is just loving it. What else do we have going on? I think that's about it. I have been watching Flosstube this week. I've got back in the groove of watching it again. I have watched so many, trying to catch up because I was MIA for over a month. So I've caught up with Emily and Michelle Rudy and Taryn. If you have not watched Taryn's latest glove box confession, you have got to go see it. I was laughing out loud at her video when I watched it. It's just a few minutes long, like 12, 13 minutes. And she's describing her New Year's resolutions as picked up from a crossword puzzle. No, a word search that her and her husband did. It was hilarious. But I caught up with her and Lily at 42 Stitches and Jessica Schoolhouse Stitcher and just lots of units. Great to catch up and see what all of you all have been working on over the past few weeks. So I'm going to continue to do that this week as well. And until I see you next weekend, have a wonderful week. Cross all the X's, hugs and stitches. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.